Hans!
Nick!
I have not done this in a while.
Jumping exercise? Yes, you're right. You're very pudgy. What have you not done in a while? I mean, what have you not done in a while?
I have not been on Bash Brewers in a while.
Yeah, Valentine's Day has been and gone, and myself and Alex did some weird episodes. Weird episodes.
We're not here to talk about Valentine's Day.
Good, because it's a sad time.
We are here to talk about new releases. Like Tom Clancy's The Division.
Are you saying, Nick, that this is on the fence?
I am on... I'm not on the fence.
But are you saying this is on the fence? The show is about helping you decide whether or not to spend your hard-earned money on the biggest and possibly best releases. Only here on the Bash Bros channel.
Yeah.
Home of Northern Irish gaming.
Yeah, sure. Go for that. Hans, this is Tom Clancy's The Division.
I love Tom Clancy.
I am indifferent about his games. They can be very hit and miss, let's be honest.
His books are not terrible.
But this is Ubisoft's new big flagship game that's been in development for like 8 years.
Yep.
It's been around... It's old enough to drink, basically, at this point.
As we all know, Ubisoft has a good history of producing brand new IPs that blow the market away.
Yep. All just like Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
It was awesome.
The first Assassin's Creed. Whoa. Totally not mixed reviews at all.
No, let's do this. I am this gruff ass motherfucker.
Yes, that is you.
In my trendy slouchy beanie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, The Division is based in... Some would say post-apocalyptic. I don't really agree with that. It is in a quarantined New York City.
Yeah.
So I'll dander out and show you New York City first. Just this, so we're not pandering around this fucking base of operations while I go through the pitch of the game.
It has been hit by a disease that came from
the dollar
money.
flu, as I believe it's called, is the premise of this game where someone put a bunch of virus on dollar bills and then got them into circulation for Black Friday, causing New York City to become a quarantine area.
It just looks like New York City to me.
It does just look like New York City.
Shit.
But
like, fuck, we don't have American
So
audience.
a year, I think this is like something like 18 months afterwards now. So The Division, which is a bunch of sleeper agents, have been activated to go sort out New York City because it's kind of just becoming a war zone.
Yeah.
So you are a Division agent.
You are created by the player.
Yes, in a car window.
Yep.
Because this game loves its car doors and closing them.
It also not the greatest options for character customization.
No,
very limited.
It was a bit shit.
Yeah.
Close that car door. Because I'm a good upstanding citizen. But basically, the main gameplay loop of The Division is when you boil it down, it's a gear grind game. Kind of like your Borderlands, kind of like your Destinies, kind of like your Diablos. You're going out, you're doing all these missions, so you'll see missions here. So you'll have this mission, which is a security mission. I'll get into that later. You have your medical missions or your technology missions.
Yes.
You do those, you'll get better loot, you'll level up.
What do they correspond to?
So these correspond to... The main kind of flow of the game is you're trying to build up this base of operations, which has 3 wings, medical, tech, security, just corresponding to the mission. So you get enough points, so doing each mission of each type gives you points to upgrade different wings of this base. And there's also like smaller missions that are just like, you can clear them out in like 5 minutes, just like, oh, go to this area, clear out the bad guys. So this is my medical wing. I've been upgraded. This is probably the one I've got the most upgraded in, because they actually give you like 3 of these missions in a row early on. So the way this works is you upgrade different parts of the base, and this can either give you... They usually give you 2 of 3 things. You get a skill, a perk, or a talent. So skills are active things, you activate them. So I have this first aid skill, so I'd pop that, it heals me, heals guys around me. They also give you perks, which perks are always active.
They're passive.
Yeah, you don't slot them in anything. They're like, you can have as many perks as you want. And then some will also give you these talents, which I think over the course of the game you get 4 talent slots. I think 5. Perk actually gives you an extra one.
Yeah.
And then you slot these in depending which one you want.
And that gives you different buffs and whatever, yeah.
So, exactly, if I activate, so obviously I have 2 points because I actually haven't done a medical mission in a while, but I can, alright, I'm going to upgrade my medical wing, I get a pharmacy, I get these new abilities, I get these new perks to activate. So that's grand, so then...
Whoa, personal space, lady! Personal space. Did not know there was a queue to use the laptop.
Hello!
She seems nonplussed by your cries of help.
So, oh, I forgot I can get my fabric here now.
Yeah, so different things open up. Like, there's visual representations of each thing.
So, like, I recently opened up a pediatric unit, so this area would actually sometimes be filled with sick kids. But there's a monkey!
Shoot that monkey.
I can't activate my guns in the fucking suit. Could you imagine the shit that would go down if I just start popping off in here? So, the main gameplay loop is basically that. You go out, you do missions to upgrade your base, and then eventually you hit level 30, which is the cap, and then there's also, which you probably won't show in the demo because I don't want to go and do it by myself, there's also this dark zone area.
Yeah.
So the dark zone is basically a PvP area. Well, there's PvP elements and AI elements, so there's AI enemies that you can just go out and kill. And
like, there is out in the thing anyway.
But the loot you get in the dark zone has to be extracted via helicopter, because it's contaminated. But whenever you call down the helicopter, other players who are in the zone may come and like kill you and get your loot, which causes them to go rogue. And then they're like, if you kill them, you don't go rogue and you get a bonus.
It's like bounties in GTA Online almost.
So he's like, oh, alright, I'm gonna wait until they call in this helicopter, and then I'm gonna kill them, and then get my stuff, and then steal their stuff, and then in addition to my stuff, I have their stuff.
Yeah.
But at the core of its concept, that's awesome. And then I think the dark zone is actually probably going to be the most interesting part of this game, because I'm gonna be honest, this game is kind of already boring me. I've put 10 hours into this character. I'm level 12 out of like 30, and I'm already starting to feel it really drag.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed. So like, there's kind of a running...
Oh, what do you know? You can't place a waypoint in a mission you've already done. That's strange.
So there are like different storylines to each three, or there's a thread, let's put it that way, of storyline between the 3 different wings. So you've got your tech and your healing and all that, or tech, med, and security. Apparently, so your med is all about discovering how the virus was made and circulated. That's the kind of running storyline thread through that. There is then also the security one is about learning about the different gangs and stuff throughout the different parts of New York. And the tech one, I actually don't know a lot about the tech storyline. But yeah, it's the thing where like all the story and stuff is told more through the little voice in your headset.
All the story is kind of just ambient dialogue.
Yeah, instead of like, there are some cutscenes, but the cutscenes are few and very far between. And that, like, this could have been a radio drama. And it's the exact same issue I would have with a lot of MMOs, is that there's no cutscenes. It's all done by text box or by voice acting.
It's very easy to miss a lot of the story, basically.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're simply not paying attention and you're not, like, if you're too focused on, like, say, a firefight while one of those voiceovers going on, like, you just miss that entire voiceover and you just don't understand what's going on.
So the combat, though, it's actually pretty solid. I feel like the combat is... I mean, it's... Don't get me wrong, it's just a third-person cover-based shooter. But, like...
This is not...
No, you are not aiming right.
No. So, the combat is kind of just... I think the combat actually feels really nice. My main issue with it is actually that... The big problem with this is it's constantly, like, throwing information back and forth from a server. So, whenever... Like, so for launch day there was a lot of issues, but it also means that if your connection isn't that stable, you're going to have issues with the gun stuff, because, for example, on the first day, I have this sticky bomb, one of my skills. So if I fire that on someone and instantly detonate it, it's pretty much guaranteed, like, to at least do a fair bit of damage.
Yeah.
But I did that and instantly detonated it, and the guy kind of didn't react and just started running into cover, like just up against the wall. He kept running into it, and then suddenly, about 5 seconds later, he exploded and died. So it means that the feel of the gunplay is all determined on it. One, how good your internet is, and two, how the server depends on feeling it that day.
Yeah. One of the things I like about the combat is, though, the ability to climb up on the cars and on different things, because it adds a good level of I believe the buzzword is verticality to the combat. With most cover-based shooters, like Gears of War and stuff, it's on like a very narrow plane or a very flat playing field, and you can maybe climb up. You actually have to walk up a place instead of actually climb up it to get the a vantage point. But here, no, it's very much you can climb on top of anything that's higher. It's pretty much anything that's just about a head taller than your character, you can jump up on. But like the guns, my one issue, I have one big thing about anything with guns in it, and that is how does a shotgun feel? The shotguns in this are not great, I have to admit. There's not because it's done with numbers instead of actual like ballistics. The shotgun does not have the mule kick behind it that I look for. But no, the combat in this is very solid. I do think it's a good third-person shooter. There's different enemy archetypes as well, which, you know, like for example, you're against the cleaners. The cleaners.
Who are disgruntled waste disposal people.
Yeah, but like they
feel like they need to burn the virus out of New York.
Yeah, but they have flamethrowers and stuff, so their weak point is their back. If you shoot the gas canister on their back, they blow up, no problem, doing either a lot of damage or killing them. You've also got rioters, which are just, well, that's pretty obvious. Rioters and looters, they're just an average. They are very like weak compared to most of the other ones, because they usually have just pistols or stuff or submachine guns. There's one other faction that I haven't met yet. Is it ML? No,
there's only the two factions. It's
I thought there was a third.
No, it's the cleaners and the Rikers.
Oh, right, okay. But no, the different archetype means you have to think about your enemies instead of just point gun at and keep holding the trigger. Chargers as well, so I suppose that's one archetype where they run up and will attack you.
So as much as I feel like the combat is actually fun and I think all the guns control very well, the main issue I feel like this game is already feeling like starting to drag on me is as much as there's the different enemy archetypes and the different types of enemies, like some guys have flamethrowers, some guys just run at you. They're all just dudes, so shooting them in the head will bring them down.
Yeah.
So it's the issue I thought Destiny actually handled really well with, like, they had 3 distinct races with each of them with all different like types of classes in them. But like look, every guy here, I'm just shooting in the head, they're going down.
Yeah, but you are level 12.
I am, yes, replaying a mission, but this is the same whenever I just play a mission for the first time as well. I shoot a guy in the head, he goes down like a sack of shit.
Yeah.
It's not... The combat, there's not a lot of strategy required for the combat.
Also, normally, if you're going in, say Nick was level 6 and this is a level 6 mission, the game does encourage you to join up with other players and stuff, and that's actually pretty easy in the long run. Like, joining a match in this game, yeah, well here's for example, what you do to a cleaner, boom, done, dead.
I also feel like the AI can be very questionable at times. Like that guy literally hopped up on that and then instantly ran back away from me with no cover.
The AI is dodgy, usually if you get too close to a ranged person. Whenever you go on a whenever you like kind of close in on a ranged person, if it's a melee person, they've got no problem, they will fuck you up. But if you close down a ranged person, they kind of freak out a bit and will try and find cover away from you. But yeah, so like the matchmaking in this game's actually pretty easy to get into. You just go to the map, you would hover over the map, and you hit triangle, and then that'll launch into a matchmaking session. Once it finds you a suitable session to get into, you hold down the right stick, and then that you launch right into the middle of the mission. Sometimes you're not even in cover, and you might die within seconds of getting into it. I don't know, just for example. But it is. Nope. I do feel though that, so usually when you're doing a first person, or whenever you're doing a shooter game and it's set in a somewhat gritty realistic world, they try not to make the enemies bullet sponges.
This project was intended
but
as
for the elite enemies,
they just soak up bullets.
They are.
For
Construction in New York
fucking, you'd need to probably like, you can dump literally, I'd say, tens of clips into an enemy, like when they're the elites, and they just don't go down.
Yeah, that is one of the issues of putting an MMO format on
a shooter.
Like,
because you either go one of two ways, and I don't think really any game. I don't think either way is good. You either go like kind of how Morrowind did it. I know it's not. When you kind of put RPG elements into a shooter, you kind of do it one or two ways. You either give all the guns stats and see how they fare,
like Borderlands,
like a Borderlands, but then you run the risk of you could get a very powerful gun because all the guns are randomized and blow through the game. So your only option for that is make the enemies bullet sponges, or you do what Morrowind did, and you do like a dice roll behind every swing to see, like, you may connect, but it might not actually hit. I think Fallout may have had some of that, but I'm not sure. Not Fallout 4 anyway. I don't know.
It is, and I gotta agree, it is like
it's kind of trying to pick the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, there really isn't an easy way. You can't, like, a shooter needs to be a shooter. Like, putting it in... Shooter was something, like, it's the same with, what was that spy game? Bro, you know the Sega one?
Alpha Protocol?
Alpha Protocol. Like, it took it to an extreme degree, to the point where, like, you needed to put stats into pistols, even just to hit something. This doesn't do that, thankfully, but, like, when it comes to bosses and stuff, you can't just give them more health. That's not changing the challenge. That's just drawing the battle out.
It's artificially increasing the difficulty instead of naturally increasing the difficulty.
Like, for example, there was actually one of the ones wasn't so bad. It was there's a security mission before this. This is the tunnel pike one, where the final boss is a sniper, but he's set up in a way where he has vantage point over the entire intersection, which is littered with cars that you use for cover. That's a good idea, because whenever you're doing that, it means that it's a challenge to take care of his minions, because if you pop up for too long, he will snipe you and take a lot of your health. And then if they had done it that way, and then that you get up to the challenge is actually getting up to him. That is a good boss fight, because that is challenging. But the problem with that, with what they did in this game, was you get up to him, but then he still has that fuck ton of health to take away, which is therefore it's a cheap way to boot up the challenge. It is one of those things. It's the same thing that Ubisoft has done time and time again. Is we have this really great idea, but then they fuck with the formula so much that it becomes completely average. Like, Watch Dogs was the exact same. Great concept, but ended up fucking it up by, I don't know, meeting the middle ground somewhere with everything. That's what I feel like they did with this. I feel like they could have had a great squad shooter here. I think if they had done this as some online elements, but they formatted it like Destiny, but I feel like this would have better suited as if you just kept it as a squad shooter, you know? And then concentrated, the time that you spent fucking crowbarring in the online aspects, spend on giving it a decent coherent story and stuff. Because it definitely feels like, there's parts of it that do feel like this started off life as a non-online game, or even that, like, you could do it online in the sense that
there's matchmaking.
There's matchmaking, or even like your friend, you can play it over, you can play it online with each other. Also, some better fucking customization options for your character would have been fantastic.
I think the clothes stuff is fine. It's more the look of your character.
It's the facial stuff.
You're a white guy, a Chinese guy, or a black guy. They all kind of look the same.
Or woman. You can be a chick. That's fine. What the? Is he trying to Superman punch you?
Kind of look like that.
No more bleeding current into the... A couple more hacks like that, and we're in business.
They're here. Get them.
Okay. Some of the I do like how, though. Okay, to be fair, neither of us are overly far into it, but each sort of dungeon or mission, story mission, has at least tried to change the level design.
Each story mission is in, like, there's the open world, but then each story mission is actually in its own
relatively,
it's all in, like, every story mission is kind of in, like, its own area, which has been specially designed for it.
I do like that, like, and like this place, it's very much a biohazardy mess.
Oh shit.
You are not very accurate today, dude. God damn it, dude. This
There's
is
a
like
weird
your,
like jitter as you get shot is the issue.
this is like your Metal Gear Solid all over again. Try to shoot the guy in the head to take him out.
Oh Jesus!
Did not see him there. Because like the first mission set in like a... What was the first one?
First mission set in Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah.
And then the next mission I have to do, like in story-wise, is go to Times Square.
And we haven't really talked about the side mission stuff, but
Yeah, there's kind of two types of side missions. There's ones that are actually called side missions, which they have a bit of story and voice acting to them, but they're largely, in structure, they're largely still pretty similar.
in structure it's like go to place, shoot
Yeah.
bad guys, do some sort of benign activity, which might lead to shooting more bad guys.
Then you have encounters as well, which are... When I played the beta, I actually thought encounters might have been just randomly generated, because just of how they're kind of laid out.
Yeah.
But it turns out no, they're not, which I think is a bit shit
Yeah.
for how much effort actually went into them then. Because encounters are literally, they're generally just go to this place, kill the bad guys, free the hostages or whatever.
Yeah, the encounters usually consist of, and each one is obviously related to each wing, because you get points to put into your wings of the base. So your medical ones usually go to scan some biohazardous materials. The security ones are rescue the hostage, and the tech ones are usually... I don't know what the tech ones are actually, I haven't really played that many. But I agree, it's...
But, like, saying that, like, the story missions are lengthy, like, each story mission, I'd say, first time through, would probably take, like, half an hour to 45 minutes.
Yeah. If you're doing it, you know... If you're doing it actually at the level that you're
Yeah.
supposed to be doing it at.
Obviously, I've gone back and playing an old one here just to kind of show how one flows.
And all in all, the people you play with... I've heard some stories of griefing, but most of the people I've played with them pretty decent. There hasn't been too many dickheads on
I'd
the
say the
servers.
griefing is probably more towards the Dark Zone stuff. That's when you're going to get people who are... They're purposely, like... They're just going around killing people for the sake of killing people. They're not trying to be strategic about it. They're just, alright, there's some people who I haven't killed. Fuck it, let's kill them. They may not even have any fucking loot on them. They just want to kill them because they can.
There we go. Hope you can see in the dark, because I need you in the control room to wrap
But as
this
you can
up.
see, like right now, the guy's talking to Nick.
Sooner we get out of this...
There he is over there. But like, that's it. Like that. There is no like, hey, let's introduce this character in a cool way with a cutscene displaying their drives and emotions. Nah, fuck it, just talk over the radio.
The most character development I've seen for this guy is literally in a loading screen that said, oh, he's distrustful of the Division and the JTG. Sorry, JTF.
Do you know who has the best characterization?
Isaac?
No, the quest givers for the side missions.
Oh, the sitrep officers?
Yeah, so each new section of the city has a different quest giver, which gives you all the side missions.
Basically, in each different borough, basically, is a different, like safe house where you'll go. There's like a map board which will tell you where all the encounters are, and there's also a sitrep officer who will tell you, like, oh, here's where all the side missions are. But some of those, I feel like are just... I feel like the writing for some of them is terrible.
Well, I don't know if they're terrible, but...
Like, there's one I saw, I was like, he's just this guy's like, oh, I have allergies, that's my whole thing. It's like, great, fuck off.
They are, but...
You're in the middle of a fucking war zone, and you're caring about your fucking allergies.
My issue... that's the thing. In a game where every character is just bland, and like, oh, shit's getting fucked up, they are... Even the stereotypical ones, like, oh, my allergies, are... fucking got fuck ton more characters than anything else. like so the first one you come into when you reach the main city is a very motherly figure who is like, oh, way to go, sweetie, you did great there, and she's actually quite funny. So she's sitting there with this motherly figure going like, oh, some hostages have gotten taken by some rioters, go kill them. And then the next one you meet is very passive aggressive and towards you. And then the third one I met was he was a TV show star who had been conscripted into the TGF, who are the police force, sort of.
TGF are basically all the emergency services grouped under one banner.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a conscription thing to it. And then the fourth one was some hippie dude who was talking about how like the hostages should meditate to help get over this traumatic experience. So, but that kind of shows how bad the story chops of this game are. That these quest givers have more character to them than the actual people in the story. Like, I don't know. It was the same thing with Watch Dogs. The story in Watch Dogs was not great.
But you didn't like playing Aiden Pearsons. Such a memorable character.
That dude...
Was that even his name? I can't remember.
Aiden Pierce was his name, but that dude needed to get fucking laid. Like... The thing that got me about the Aiden Pierce character in Watch Dogs was that he was the uncle of the young girl who died that made him become a vigilante. And he was still hung up on it, but the mother, his sister, the mother of the child who died, had already moved on and gotten over it. That's what got me about that storyline, was the fact that even it made Pierce sound like a whiny bitch, the fact that the mother of the child had gotten over it, but he hadn't.
So this is kind of what we're talking about when we say bullet sponge Jenny. Like, I'm 5 levels higher than this guy, and I'm still having to dump like multiple clips into him.
Yeah.
And just play cat and mouse with them.
It's fine once their armor is gone,
yeah.
But they have so much fucking armor that it is just... There's...
I feel like this game is almost balanced for more than one person, because if there's no one there to kind of take the aggression off you,
yeah,
like you just kind of, alright.
You're guaranteed to take damage.
Yeah.
Alright, that's a wrap. System's clean, board is green.
So it kind of has the standard loot thing. There's greens, purples, oranges, and then you also have your light blues, which are all cosmetic stuff.
Hats, Nick!
Yep.
So many hats!
Sorry, I'll change my jeans here with these modern worn out jeans I just picked up.
I don't like them, they're too skinny. Trekking pants, dude.
Eh.
Yeah, no, that's not the ones I had. I had modern worn out jeans. They were... What about your jacket, Nick?
I like my jacket.
Give yourself an entire new look. It's a makeover time. Future Hans could put in a fashion montage.
No, Future Hans does not need to do that.
Future Hans' editing skills are probably a bit rusty, to be honest, because it's been a while. That's all. I love the way that there's always conveniently a quick exit out of each mission. So, yeah, I'm in loading screens. With any...
well, I think it's really a loading screen because you have to actually go to the menu to replay a mission. So you can't just walk up to it and go back in. That's now probably loading me out of that instance.
Looks like the power grid is a lot more.
Boom! Done.
Thanks to you, we're back.
Do you still
in
get experience for
Rhodes is
clicking
already
mission
on his
now?
way back in, so no need to.
You get less experience and you still get
I'll see
credits.
you when you get here.
So... locked door. Nick, locked door!
Where?
What? I don't know, it just said there was a locked door discovered. Bro, you need to get a shotgun. You missed him with the sticky ball. Have you noticed that all the rioters held it with a gangsterling?
Yeah, it's...
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Wow.
So there you go, there's a bit of server lag for
Yeah.
you, just to really demonstrate what the fuck we're talking about. Nick!
Hans.
If I was on the fence about Tom Clancy's The Division, what would you say to me?
I would say Tom Clancy's Division is a good game. It is a perfectly... It's very... I think it's a good shooter. It feels good. The loot grind's alright. It's pretty fun. the weapons you get are pretty enjoyable. My main issue is I'm 10 hours in, nothing has changed enemy-wise. So, like, I'm still fighting the same guys. All I'm doing still is shooting them in the head and moving between cover. So, it's already kind of dragging there, and I'm only 10 hours in with still, like, 10 story missions to do. The server can be a bit iffy at times. It's obviously all dependent on your connection. And the main source of the endgame content I've heard is literally just the Dark Zone. There's no raids or anything, or dungeons to do. And if you're playing it by yourself, the Dark Zone is going to be completely unplayable. Like, if Destiny or something like that was your kind of thing, I can see people loving The Division. Like, I have friends who love Destiny, and they're really enjoying The Division. I like Destiny, but not enough to go and, like, I'm going to keep grinding out this loot. So Division's kind of not hitting the right notes with me. I think it looks good. I think New York looks awesome. And it's actually apparently a really good recreation of certain areas actually look fucking legit.
Identical, yeah.
So all in all, like, it's going to be a very divisive game. Do you get it?
I got you. I got you.
I think it can be like, the progression, it can be summed up, like Jeff Gerstmann tweeted it the other day. I think it sums up the kind of progression very well, and I'll tell you what type of game it is. Like, tweeted, I completed the final mission of The Division, and all I got was a slightly better AK-47.
Yeah.
I think that sums it up perfectly. Like, it's not a game you're playing to, like, see a serious story progression. It's a game that you're going to go in and you're going to replay the same missions over and over again to get better loot and grind it out until you're into the Dark Zone, and then you go into the Dark Zone, you're going to grind out the same things over and over again in the Dark Zone.
And get more loot.
Yeah.
Which is better stats.
So, like, if a gear grind type game is not for you, The Division isn't going to do anything for you. Yeah. Like, as good as the shooting is, I don't think it makes up for how kind of monotonous it can be at times.
I would say that, because this is one of the few times on the fence where we've both played the game before the actual review.
Yeah, I think the only other time was probably Fallout 4 or The Witcher.
So, if you asked me about this game if you were on the fence, I would say only get this game if you've got friends to play it with. Any game can be fun playing it with friends. The fact this is an online game, it is really supposed to be shared with people. So I would definitely say, and you could play it with strangers online, that's no problem, that they're completely playable, especially the story missions. But I would not have picked up this game to play by myself. I picked it up because Nick got it so we can play together. There's a couple of guys in work who have it as well, so I can play with them. I wouldn't have picked this game up, especially for 40 quid. I wouldn't have picked it up for, I don't know, for 40 quid to play by myself. I would have rather they not made this an online game, if I'm honest. I would have loved to have seen this with the online aspect, well, 80% of the online aspect taken out. I would like to have seen this if the online aspect wasn't its main priority. I would love to have seen this if it was actually just a squad-based shooter. That you could, don't get me wrong, you could play it online still, you know, with mates and stuff. But I feel like the MMO aspect to it does take away stuff from it. So that is Tom Clancy's The Division. Anything to add before we go?
Also, it's a Ubisoft game, so expect a fuck ton of collectibles.
Yeah, no, that's
like,
also
look, this
true.
is like 2 areas, and look at all these collectibles.
Anything that is blue, sorry, if we just say that, that's collectibles.
That light tealish colour.
At least there's no tower climbing.
Correct, that is very true.
Also, one thing I do not like about this game is the UI. It takes up so much.
I do not mind the UI.
The map is also a piece of piss.
I like the map.
I hate it. I hate the map, and because you like it, I hate you too. So that is top. Also, people really don't like you.
No!
Anytime 2 people have like... Anytime 2 people...
I want to touch you.
Anytime 2 people are having like an interaction on the street... Like,
and you get anywhere
near
them.
And anywhere near them, they stop what they're doing, drop everything and fuck off. So yes, that is Tom Clancy's... Did you kill him? Is that a riot?
Yeah, I did.
Fuck's sake, Nick. That is Tom Clancy's The Division. It is about £40, depending where you get it, and available on PS4, Xbox One, and the PC. And that's what we think about it. Bye!
I'm going to wave to the camera.
Oh, right, okay. That's not. That's the. By the way, that's the worst wave I've ever seen.
Could have freeze
Touch.
death.
Touch.